It's another Tuesday night edition of Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
You gotta hold on. That's very impressive because those are the best of the best.
Me growing up and hearing about racing, that's kind of all I heard about is the Van Pelt. So to have Billy drive my car was a pretty good deal.
You're not just buying a racetrack, you're buying a piece of American racing history right there. I mean, that's huge. The history behind the track, mind-boggling.
Race fans, it's time to throw it up on the cushion and get dirty. Live from the Casa de Pork Chop Studios, it's time for Turn 5 Live. Now, your hosts of Turn 5 Live, Stephen Ovens, Clint Miller, and Brad Ovens.
Hello, race fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller joining you here on a Tuesday night, as we always do, here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Clint Miller, welcome in to tonight's episode. Some pretty popular interviews, and again, 2 more requested interviews tonight that we're going to take care of tonight on Turn 5.
Great. Man, this has been a great week for us, and I can't wait to tell everybody about it and get these interviews going.
Absolutely. We actually have interviews that we took on Sunday from the Black Rock Speedway meet and greet and rules meeting as well. On Sunday, they had a staff meeting as well as meetings for all of the divisions that will be competing at the Speedway in 2015. We do have audio with Greg Hickson. We have audio with the Backyard Motorsports gang of Rich Sharpstein and Jeremy Trank, going to be talking to us about their 2015 plans and how things are coming together. And actually, Clint, we'll start off with the Greg Hickson audio. Greg being announced this past week as the race director for the Black Rock Speedway. That was one of Mike Jackson's first moves. And, of course, Mike will be joining us here in the second segment of the show. Mike and Sue Foster both. And a lot of folks had the chance to meet them on Sunday. But if you didn't get a chance to meet them, you will be able to hear from them tonight here on Turn 5 Live. Now, we're excited to have them on. We've been trying to get them for a couple of weeks, but really wanted to get them after having the chance to meet all of their staff members and the drivers on Sunday. So, Clint, let's go ahead and go over and hear from Greg Hickson, who was announced the race director for the Black Rock Speedway. Here's Greg Hickson. Everybody gathering here at the Dundee VFW for the Black Rock Speedway rules and meet and greet with new promoters Mike Jackson and Sue Foster. I'm going to talk to a guy who was recently announced as the race director for the Black Rock Speedway, Greg Hickson. Greg, good to see you, and it's going to be great to see a familiar face at the Speedway.
Well, I'm honored to be working here. I appreciate Mike and Sue hiring me. It's an honor. Looking forward to the meeting today. Get to meet a bunch of guys and drivers and hear their wants and wishes, and should be a good day, and I'm really looking for opening day.
Well, that was one question I wanted to ask you is, this kind of meeting, you get to meet the folks that, starting off with a staff meeting, and then you have drivers coming in. What do you look to get out of today in talking to those drivers?
Well, it's always nice to hear opinions. You can't always please everybody, but we take those opinions and we do listen to them and we do think about them. We'll use all those opinions and thoughts and theories, and we'll put them forward, and hopefully it'll be a great season at Black Rock Speedway.
Talk to us as far as, you've had past with the Black Rock Speedway, been the starter, been in different roles there. Talk to us about being the race director and exactly, is there a set plan of what does the race director do on race night?
Well, the race director oversees everything that goes on in the track. They've got a schedule to keep. Obviously, there's a curfew here, so we have to keep a schedule. We make sure that we keep everything as fair as possible. You just oversee everything that goes along with the racing operation and keep the show moving fairly and smoothly.
Listen, I gotta.
He's gonna.
say hello to a driver of the Speedway, but you know, some people have who don't know you, Greg. Talk to us about you know, how is there a certain style that you have being a race director? One thing that I have told people in knowing and working with you in the past is, Greg, if anything is fair, and I know that that's got to be you know, toward the top of your list of how you run a show.
Well, that's my theory. When I raced, I hated it when I went to a racetrack and you could see blatant favoritism for racers, or racers that had particular sponsors on their car and stuff, and I don't like that, and I try not to. It's not that I don't try. I don't do that. When you're out there racing, you might be a friend of mine, or you might be somebody I don't really care for, but you're still a number to me. And I try to be as fair as I can. We're only human. You know, we miss things, and we see things differently than other people sometimes, or, you know, it's just like any racer that goes to the races, there might be 3 people watching the same incident and have 3 different opinions. But we try to do the best that we can as far as making a call, and my concern is to be consistent every time, as consistent as humanly possible.
And, you know, this isn't your first go-around as race director. You've been serving that role at Canandaigua for how many years now?
This will be my 4th.
Okay. Talk to us about, you know, having the opportunity to come over here on Friday nights and also fill that role at Canandaigua. I mean, that's a racer's dream.
Well, Canandaigua, obviously, I grew up there. I raced there for like 20 years, and that's my home track. And I'm really proud to work there. And it's a great facility. Jeremy and Lori Corcoran put on a great show there. We have a great car count, and things go relatively smoothly there. For the most part, and I know that the fans like it, and that's what we're trying to bring here. Mike and Sue seem to have the same vision. That's what they want here at their Speedway, and I'm going to do my best to help them get it.
It's early in the process, but, you know, it seems like it's not too hard for us to kind of have that confidence. It seems like, you know, as announcements have come out and the meeting today, I mean, it looks like we're on the right track here.
Yeah, I agree with that. The real test will be when we open up, and you know, Black Rock has had some different promoters in the past, and they do things probably differently than Mike and Sue are going to do, and the race directors probably did things differently than what I'm going to, and hopefully when it's all said and done, it'll all mesh, and we'll have a... My whole goal is that at the end of the night that Mike and Sue are happy, the fans are happy with a great race, the drivers are as happy as we can get them to be, because, you know, there's always somebody that's going to be upset with you, but at the end of the night or the next week, I want to walk through the pits and I want to shake hands and talk to every driver there. I want to be friendly with them, but I want them to know that when I'm in my position as race director, that they're just a number to me.
Well, I appreciate your time this morning, and won't be too much longer. We'll be at the Rock.
Appreciate it, Steve, and I just want to tell you, you're doing a great job with what you're doing.
Well, that's Greg Hickson. He's going to be a race director in 2015 at the Black Rock Speedway here at the rules meeting and meet and greet session.
Well, Clint, there's Greg Hickson, going to be the race director in 2015 for the Black Rock Speedway, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am with this hire, with Mike Jackson hiring Greg Hickson right out of the box.
No, that's real exciting. You know, Greg's been around a long time. I've known him outside of racing, you know, from the bowling alley in Newark. One of the nicest guys in the sport, one of the fairest guys in the sport. And when you want to start something up new, you want credibility, that's what you do. You go out and get Greg Hickson.
Absolutely. That's the word fair is something that you're going to hear a lot when it comes to how Greg Hickson runs a race up in the tower, and you're going to see it on display. Well, Clint, other exciting announcement in 2015 is Rich Sharpstein, Jeremy Trank making the decision to move from the street stock division back down to the 4-cylinders and have a little bit of fun at an economical cost as well. Let's go and hear from Rich Sharpstein and Jeremy Trank about their 2015 plans.
Getting ready to start the 4-cylinder front-wheel drive meetings here at the Dundee VFW for the Black Rock Speedway rules meeting and meet and greet. Going to talk to two guys here from the Backyard Motorsports gang that making a switch in 2015, going to into the four-cylinder division. I'll start with Richie, Rich Sharpstein. Rich, tell us about your guys' decision to move to the four cylinders as a group.
Just want to go back to racing with friends, having fun for not a lot of money. Everybody knows last year we didn't have a good year and kind of broke the bank. And with the uncertainty of the street stock class and the way the rules are going, we decided to go back to where racing was fun and we can travel around and have a lot of fun racing with our friends.
And talk to Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy, you both have had success in the four-cylinder division. You didn't have too bad a year yourself in the street stock for your rookie season. Talk to us about where you're at headed back.
Kind of about the same thing. The street stock's kind of out moneying itself, really, the way the rules are going. And having a family and a house, you got to take care of the good stuff first and move back down to the four-cylinder, still able to race and put food on the table and still have fun with the family. So,
four-cylinder just as competitive as the street stock division. Back in the heyday, you would call the four-cylinder division racing there was like going four wide at Talladega.
Yeah, definitely a good class to get started in and even come back to. I think there's going to be a good number of four-cylinders where you're going to have to qualify to get in. And it's going to be real competitive with all of us coming back and the guys still in the class and the veterans still in there. So
I'll go back to Richie here. You guys making your plans, getting those cars ready to go up to the Motorsports Expo in Syracuse. You guys have been going up there for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's something that we look forward to. It's kind of our kick off the season party. We take the car up and show it. This year we're taking both mine and Jeremy's. So, we're definitely looking forward to it. We got to get on the 8-ball now. We're about ready to start hanging bodies and sheet metal here soon.
And, the thing about that, too, is when you guys have the car pretty much ready to go at the Expo, that doesn't leave you guys in that last-minute panic before the season starts.
Right, that's why we kind of use that as our deadline if we're ready to go then. And we normally just got little stuff to do when we come back from that. And it makes the last part of the prep season a little more relaxing.
Jeremy, how much trouble are we going to get in Syracuse?
Time will tell.
Well, guys, thanks a lot for your words here, and we're going to have more here covering the rules meeting and meet and greet here for the Black Rock Speedway.
Oh, there we go with Greg Hickson's audio as well as Rich Sharpstein and Jeremy Trank talking about their 2015 plans for the Black Rock Speedway. And Clint, I'll go to you here. Greg Hickson, what a great hire for Mike Jackson and Sue Foster right out of the box. He, of course, has been the race director at the Canandaigua Motorsports Park, and that has been in that role for the last few seasons. And Greg is a guy who, if nothing else, is fair, and that's what I've always known about Greg for the numerous years that I've known him. I think the first time I ever got to see a race that Greg was race director for was at the Paradise Speedway. And, he was tested on that night as to, how fair of a race he was going to call for the racers that night. And I think that's going to be a great thing for our Black Rock Speedway going forward in 2015. We're going to get Mike Jackson on the hotline here, and he will be part of segment number 2 right after this break. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
In the Pits Media is proud to present its newest partner, WinYourNewCar.com. That's right, you now can enter the #1 American Dream Car Contest giveaway at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on. Stop dreaming. Start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Hi everybody, this is Getty Lee for RAD. To many of us, drunk driving is something that other people do. Certainly not one of our friends or relatives would do such a thing. When you see someone who's had too much to drink, about to get into a car, urge them to give up the keys and find alternate transportation. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, you should too.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hey race fans, this is Oswego Speedway Public Relations Director Dan Kapusinski, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live.
Hello race fans, welcome back to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, now Brad Ovens joining you on the program here tonight, and we're going off to the hotline to bring in our first guest of the night, co-promoters of the Black Rock Speedway in 2015, Mike Jackson joining us on the line, and Mike, pleasure to talk to you tonight. Really looking forward to talking about your guys' plans for the Black Rock Speedway.
It's a pleasure to be on your show, guys. You guys do a great job for motorsports.
Well, let's get right into it, Mike. How did the option for you to become the promoter at Black Rock, how did that come about? We've known you for years as a successful modified driver, and now you're going to be stepping out into the promotion end of things.
In the past, I did help Vern Wasson over to Woodhull Raceway. We did the maintenance of the track, and then we got a little farther in depth with it. Helped him in other aspects. It was offered then when he was ready to sell to take that speedway over, and at that time I really wasn't in the position to do that. So it's been a goal of mine for a long time. And then Dean Hogue, of course, was getting a little nervous when nobody was taking the speedway back. So he called, and we just got the ball rolling, and that pretty much is how I ended up with the Black Rock Speedway.
Talk to us, we just got a little bit of your history about as far as working with other promoters at a speedway. Talk to us about your history in racing. That certainly, the track prep and now the promotion thing are more recent items, but you guys, Jackson's been at this racing game for quite a while.
Now you're asking how old I am.
I stopped well short of that.
I started racing in 1991. Started right in at the modified ranks at Woodhull Raceway. We've always had my dad's own cars all our life. I've had success as car owner. We've run races at Black Rock, Woodhull. I won the Little Guy Nationals one year driving for Terry Brewer. We won several races when I drove for Herbie Wright in the number 88, both at Red Line, Black Rock, and Woodhull. Most recent that I've accomplished was the Grit Series races. We only raced a couple times that year. We won 3 out of 5 shows. I love the sport. It is a very expensive sport. I just think at this point in my life, the promoter was the best way to go. I'm going to miss the race. I'm not saying I ain't ever going to get back in a car. I really want to. It's just time permitting.
Absolutely. Yeah. What is, looking back on your drive, and actually maybe I'll even start with this question. Now that you're stepping into the promoter's role, does this mean that Mike Jackson's hanging up the steering wheel?
Absolutely not. At some point, I'm going to go racing someplace, whether it be on a Saturday night over to Woodhull or go to Canandaigua on a Saturday night at some point. I still have a car. It sits in the garage, needs a new body, but other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. And
looking back on your racing career before we dive into the Black Rock stuff here, what has been, that defining moment in your racing career? What was that memory of the driving career that sticks out to you right now?
Probably the biggest race to me really wasn't winning a feature. When I drove for Herb Wright, his dad had passed away, and he had a special dash for cash. It was the Radar Wright Memorial Race. We went out, and actually I started last and won that race. That's got to be one of the most that sticks out in my mind as far as winning. It really meant a lot to the whole team. I'll never forget it. It meant a lot to Herbie. I know it does. We talk about it all the time.
That's great, man. Now let's transition to Black Rock Speedway. You guys are going to be promoting in 2015, and I think the one comment from you that has stood out above the rest so far with people that we've talked to is the fact that you guys have a plan in place that you want to come in and hit some big ticket items as far as sprucing Black Rock Speedway up.
Yeah, we looked the whole grounds over, and we really need to do a lot of cleanup on the place. We're going to start right out as soon as the weather permits with cleaning everything up and giving it a fresh facelift, get it back to where it used to be. We're definitely going to improve the racing surface. We are installing electronic scoring. We told everybody that. We're looking into some improved lighting in the place. Sue's working very hard at improving the concession stands so people can get their food, get in, get out, actually be able to eat it and not miss a race or two. We are going to build a new victory lane in the infield. Everybody has the right to get their picture taken after they worked hard all night long and was successful. They need that memory piece to go home with. It's a recognition piece that they should be allowed to have and have a nice place to do that. There's so much more we've got in mind for the place. I could go on and on about everything we want to do, and obviously everybody's volunteering to help, so everybody feels the same way.
Now, Mike, I was at the meeting Sunday, and just let everybody know what your plans are as far as the season schedule goes, because we know how it's been the last 3, 4, 5 years, however long it's been. Let them know your plans with that.
I told everybody over there, our open practice for any car that wants to come, whether it's a sprint car or anybody that wants to shake their car down, is going to be April 10th. We have set a time. As to that, we'll probably open the gates about 4 o'clock. Start racing probably about 6:30. get everybody ample time to shake their car down, stay there 10, 11 o'clock if need be, or later. I think everybody will be happy with that. April 24th will be our opening night, as the Friday in between, Canandaigua has a big race, and we didn't want to interfere with them. So we're going to race 20-point shows all year. We will race every Friday night this summer. So everybody needs to know there will be racing in Dundee at the Black Rock Speedway every Friday night, all the way until September 4th, and then we have several specials after that.
That was going to be my next question, Mike. Everybody's always, everybody knows that the Dutch Hoe National Weekend was in late October. Is that still the plan you're going to go with, or are you going to move that up a little bit to maybe to get a little warmer weather for the for the day's events?
I think we're going to try to stay with the same date. It seems to work well in the past.
Okay.
Hopefully the weather will hold out for us. I just think everybody likes that date, so we're going to stay with it.
Mike, let's talk about the, one of the big items for 2015, and you guys made that announcement right off the bat, was your plan to bring the Mighty Modifieds back to Dundee.
Yeah, when me and Sue first sat down to talk about it, I kind of sprung it up on her. I had already had plans and trying to promote Black Rock Speedway, and then I kind of had to get her on board. We sat here on the couch one night, and I told her about it, and we both talked about it. And the only way to get the fans back in the stands that the place needs is bring the Mighty Modifieds back. So we chose to run the small block and the big block together, just to draw more cars, and I really hope it works out. We had a great turnout at the meeting, and a lot of interest other than that. So I think we feel we made the right decision already.
You guys have reached out and talked to some drivers that have shown an interest in coming and running. Do you have any guys that have kind of laid their cards down and committed to coming and seeing you guys every Friday night?
Yeah, Cartwrights have committed to it. Herb Wright's committed. Steve Payne, he'll be there every week. Eric Fisher, he confirmed it. Brady Foltz, I'm pretty sure Lawson's coming over. There's several drivers that are going to be there each and every Friday night. I think we'll be seeing numbers up around 24 to 30 cars. Should be some good racing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any time the Modifieds are on the card at Black Rock, that's always a can't-miss show. The competition level was extremely high in the specials that they ran this past season, so can't wait to see the competition level on a weekly basis. And you guys will be bringing the Modifieds back with the American Racer tires.
Exactly. And American Racer tires have come on board tremendously to help us do this whole thing, and we can't thank them enough. The Modifieds were wondering if we were going to run a tire rule. At this point, we are not going to run a compound rule. If it becomes a problem later in the summer where they feel they need a compound rule, then we'll address that at that time.
Is that something that you foresee to be a problem? I mean, you come from the modified background. Is that something that you anticipate you guys are going to need to do?
No, I do not. I will work the track 3 or 4 times a week. We're gonna put a lot of effort into keeping the track tore up and get it back down so it's smooth each and every week, and put a lot of bite into the racetrack. So I do not see a problem with tire wear.
And you're talking about the racetrack. I mean, just, a lot of the racers will probably throw darts at me asking this question, but at what point will you be able to get an idea of what the track looks like?
point. As far as getting the snow off and get tore up.
Yeah.
As soon as the weather breaks, I mean, if it's as early as hopefully mid-March, I'm wanting to get it opened up and see what kind of clay's there, so it will give us ample time to put some new clay down if need be.
All right. Well, we'll have more from both Mike Jackson and we'll get a chance to speak with Sue Foster as well. Right after this break, you're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory, and if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
Welcome back to Turn 5 Live. Now back to the guy that works on race cars, the man behind the scenes pushing buttons, and the guy that talks too much. Take it away, Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Well, I'll just let the race fans at home take their own guesses as to who all of those three might be here on the show. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens joining you on a Tuesday night. Got Mike Jackson on the line here, and Mike, getting back to some of our questions here about Black Rock Speedway in 2015, I know this was a question that you had before from Doug Elkins, but I really liked the question, and I liked your answer that you had given Doug. What does a Mike Jackson show look like as far as, are you one of the promoters that likes to get these classes in, get them run, get everybody home at a decent time, or do you, prefer to take that extra length of time in the middle of the show if you need to on the track? What does a Mike Jackson show look like?
Well, we will hopefully get everybody in a timely manner. The show will run very smoothly. Obviously, you're going to have a speed bump or two now and then. If we need to take the time so the show does move on smoothly during the middle of the races, whether it be slow it down. So like we said, we had a new tire deal come out where we're going to give each driver 2 laps to get his flat tire. That's obviously going to slow the show down a little bit. I understand that, but from a safety aspect of it, as far as speeding through the pits and stuff, I feel that was the best way to go. And nobody came there to watch anybody sit in the pits over a flat tire. So yes, obviously we'll take time as needed. We're just there to make sure the show runs as smooth as possible.
Now you talked about the flat tire there, and I wanted to bring this point up too. You guys have a safety rule in mind that you guys would like to implement as far as guys coming up with flat tires go.
Well, like I told everybody over there, I never told anybody to stop on the racetrack and draw an intentional yellow. What we would like to see is if they have a flat tire, just maintain your line, slow down, come around. Greg Hickson and Scott will be looking out for it. They will be coming around. Just maintain your line. Now, when you exit the racetrack, that's when your 2 laps will start. We'll have Tommy Curtis up in the tower watching your car, your pit crew. Hopefully we have him a 4-wheeler even. He can run over and give some commentary on what's going on back to Greg and know what's going on, so we can get that driver back out on the track in those 2 laps. Nobody should ever lose a lap or put anybody a lap down for a flat tire.
You talk about Greg Hickson, Scott Hickson, Tommy Curtis. It seems like at this point, the folks that have an interest in working at the Speedway, and guys that you have tagged to come on your staff, it seems like you're going to have a nice veteran crew working for you guys.
Yes, everybody that we've actually handpicked, and most of them that were there last year, seem to work together great. And we can't do it without any of them. I mean, right from Greg Hickson all the way down to the safety guy, the wrecker guy, Tommy Curtis. I mean, they're all a very important part of Black Rock Speedway, and the show has to have them to run smoothly and operate every Friday night.
We've got a fan question coming in from the Turn 5 Racing Podcast Facebook page, asking in 2014 they ran a modified special called the Seneca Lake Shootout, and I'll kind of reword that question. Is you guys are going to have modifieds on a weekly basis? Is there plans for the schedule to see any modified specials outside from the weekly modified events?
Yes, there is. Actually, myself and Mr. Deo was on the phone today. You will see a Brett Deo show on June 2nd for the Mighty Modifieds. No, it's not going to pay as much as a regular Deo show. It's going to be a 50-lap show, $5,000 to win, $200 to start. But we are going to give 6 guaranteed starting spots for other Brett Deo shows at that race. So 6 different guys will walk out of there.
Wow. That's going to be a big show. I mean, and so those guaranteed spots will be for other shows that Brett promotes.
Exactly, and those spots are worth $400 a piece at the least. I mean, every one of his shows just about pays $400 to take the green.
Wow, that's incredible, Clint. That's a big deal right there, because we know how popular the short track Super Series races are, and boy, to have a show at Black Rock Speedway giving out some guaranteed spots, that's going to be huge.
Oh, man, that's amazing. That's great. That's awesome.
That's good stuff. Let's talk about some of the rules meetings, Mike. You guys had an opportunity to meet with each division, and I'm just curious your reaction to getting a chance to meet the competitors and the issues they brought to you guys, and just different things to chew on. How did all of that go for you guys on Sunday?
I think it went very well. The classes I thought were going to be the hardest were actually the easiest. Bringing the Mighty Modifieds back over there, there was some controversy about the weight rules or whether we should have a weight rule for this. We are going to have a weight rule in effect, just like we had planned. It seemed to work the year before for all the special shows. They were getting 40 cars. I think it's going to benefit everybody, the weight packages that we came up with. As far as the 4-cylinders, I think we made them happy. We opened it up so they didn't have to do a lot of exhaust work as far as headers and stuff go to go to Black Rock and run and then turn around and go to Woodhull the next night. Working like that back and forth with racetracks is going to help racing in general. We got a very, very good turnout for every class. The IMCAs is going to have a full field of cars this year. I have a good, strong feeling about that. A lot of interest in that class. The street stock rules, myself and Mr. Wallenbach are going to meet Saturday, and we're going to have them set in stone Saturday as to what we're allowing and what we're not allowing. We obviously realize we're probably not going to make everybody happy, but I think for the majority, everybody will be very well satisfied with what we come out with.
That's awesome, Mike. I know that hearing from drivers that we know that listen to the show every week, everybody had positive things to say. And I'll tell you one way that I gauge that is, generally speaking, when the drivers are not happy or the crew members are not happy, a lot of times they'll take to social media. And boy, I'll tell you, you had a hard time trying to find anybody that had anything negative to say on Sunday. So great momentum as we head into the 2015 season.
And same goes with us. I mean, we were just overwhelmed with the turnout. A great bunch of guys. They all sat there and talked. Nobody got out of hand. It was a great, great meeting. One of the better rules meetings I've ever even been to. And you got a great bunch of guys that came there. So my hat's off to those guys. That's what it was all about. I wanted to get our faces out there. Most of them already knew me, but very few people know who Sue is. And we wanted to get our intentions out to everybody so everybody kind of knew what we were looking to do.
Well, that's great, Mike. As far as information going forward, I know you guys are going to be getting BlackRockSpeedway.com back active on the internet.
Yes, we are. And it's my understanding that I have you as an announcer, I'm hoping.
Well, we are definitely interested in doing that. So race fans, we'll leak a little bit of information out there for you as to who you might be hearing from over the PA in 2015. We'll definitely have some announcements about that coming up here in the next week or so. Mike, absolutely a pleasure to have you on the show, and looking forward to working with you guys this year and making sure that that Black Rock Speedway is a mainstay here on Turn 5 Live.
We sure do appreciate it. I mean, right from day one, you guys have been right there for us, and anything we've asked for, any posts we've put out, you guys have very professionally put it out there. You guys just do a great job for every racetrack, not just Black Rock. I mean, you guys are there for the racer and the promoter. My hats are off to you guys. I appreciate it.
Well, that's what we're here to do, and we have a ball doing it. Mike, we'll talk to you again real soon, and when you guys have more things to announce, we'll have you back on the show.
All righty, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Mike Jackson from the Black Rock Speedway. He and Sue Foster will be the co-promoters in 2015 we've got to hit a break here. On the other side of the break, Stephen, Clint, and Brad will discuss everything that Mike Jackson just talked about for the Black Rock Speedway. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
In the race of everyday life, it's nice to have the green flag. But drivetrain problems are the pits. A fully remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential from Jasper Engines and Transmissions costs less than a new vehicle and comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide transferable warranty. See JasperEngines.com for details and get the green flag in your race of everyday life.
See the boys at Chandler & Sons Automotive, 45977 Old Ox Road in Sterling. Give them a call, 703-437-7300.
Ever higher, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. Excellence in customer service. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your #1 source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll-free at 1-888-752-7272.
Proving that raw talent isn't a necessity to do mobile radio, let's get back to Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Now, I think we've got some pretty good talent here. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens joining you here on Turn 5 Live. And Brad, I'll go to you first here. Pretty exciting stuff from Mike Jackson talking about what 2015 lies ahead. And boy, I tell you, bringing the modifieds back, #1. I think that's gonna catch a lot of people's ears right off the bat. But boy, what a show coming up on June 2nd. Show promoted by Brett Dale.
Dale. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong if you promote, own, do anything with a racetrack to have Brett Dale bring the short track Super Series in, especially when you're gonna give out 6 guaranteed starter spots. I mean, that's huge. And I think just the fact that the track's going to be running weekly, plus they're going to be running big blocks and small blocks combined. I don't see where you can get really any better than that. You're going to get your money's worth every Friday night. I can guarantee you that.
You will. And like Mike said, those 6 guaranteed spots, that is huge because, how many shows that Brett promotes during the season. I mean, like Mike said, the lowest dollar amount to start in any of those shows that they're going to give away spots for is $400 to start. I mean, that's for these local guys that have either never participated with the Super Dirt Car Series, or if they haven't in a while. I mean, that's some big money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, $400. I mean, that's your tow money, gas money. I mean, it's a good price to pay to start for a race if you're going to, if you have the intentions of, if we make the race, we're going to start, run 5 laps and park it and take the payday and, get a day of racing.
Yeah. He also talked about, being able to meet with the drivers in the divisions. And Brad, I know you were able to also kind of keep track of things on social media. I think we're starting to get to that point in today's technology with social media being so popular, and fans and drivers and crew members, team owners being able to get on social media and give their instant feedback, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing. And certainly we've seen what negative effects can come from that instant access of social media. But after the rules meetings on Sunday, I mean, I searched for as many people as I could think of that had gone to those meetings, and I was having a hard time coming up with anything negative that came out of Sunday's meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with social media is a lot of these guys, whether they traveled 5 minutes or they traveled 60 minutes or they traveled 2 hours to go to the meeting, with social media, it takes you 60 seconds to log into Facebook, go to the page and join the conversation where you can still have your input without having to actually be anywhere or go anywhere or, take any time out of your car building time at the shop. In cell phones these days, you can do it right off your cell phone while you're building at the shop.
Yeah. Well, and that's the great thing about wireless mobile radio here on PMN. You guys can be taking the show with you on your cell phone, on your iPad. You can take it right out in the shop. I know that Clint and Carl and the folks out there that work together on Carl Cleveland's cars, they got a nice little system out there. You just plug the cell phone in and there you go. You can listen in to Turn 5 Live. You can listen to Motorsports Madness. Myself, I was listening to the PMN app at work today, listening to Motor Mouth Radio, and a gentleman called in with a question, and he was calling from Geneva, New York, and that's where we're from. So, it's just it's a great way to keep everything connected and to see just how small the world is. Brad, talking, and we're going to bring Clint in on our buy or sell later on in the show to talk about one of these things. I know a big part of Sunday's meetings was the street stock meeting and that debate over the transmission, and that we've actually made that our Turn 5 Live question of the night. And that question is, should Black Rock street stock stick with standard transmissions or allow the Bert Falcon transmission into their rules for the 2015 season and beyond? If you haven't had a chance to get in on that discussion, it's been quite a discussion tonight over on the Turn 5 Racing Podcast Facebook page. We will be reading those later on in the show, or if you'd like to send us a response on Twitter, feel free to do that as well. We are at Turn 5 Podcast on Twitter. Again, that question tonight, should Black Rock street stocks stick with standard transmissions or allow the Bert Falcon transmission? If you're on our Facebook page, go over and put your comment in, and we're going to read some of the best ones on the air later on when we do buy or sell. Brad, other information that he was able to give us there, they do plan quite an effort into sprucing up the facility, and I think that is one of the things that if you're going to operate a racetrack this day and age, there's a few things that you've really got to have on your side. Number one, you've got to have great racing on the track. You've also have to have good food at the racetrack. And the third thing that you hear from fans all the time is the place has got to be clean. Specifically, you got to have clean bathrooms. If some place doesn't have the cleanest bathrooms, you'll hear about that. One of the first things right off the bat with the racetrack. But that sounds to me like these guys are going to put quite a concerted effort into cleaning the place up, and they will be doing that preseason, getting all of that underway. I know also part of the plans there was to also, in years past, the infield has just kind of been a little bit of a gravel pit or mixed in with loose dirt. They're actually planning on putting some seed down, growing some grass in the infield. So that's going to be pretty cool to see that cleaned up. They're also going to construct a Victory Lane, which is something that we haven't had, and actually haven't had a dedicated Victory Lane in quite a few years at the Speedway. It's always just been down on the front stretch near the flag stand, and now you're actually going to have a dedicated Victory Lane in the infield. So that is going to be opened, welcomed with open arms for sure. You'll see sponsor billboards down in the infield as well. We haven't seen those in quite a few years. Part of that reason may have been a lack of need for sponsor billboards down in the infield. But I do know that Mike Jackson and Sue Foster are hitting the ground running as far as getting all of those things in line. And, it's just really shaping up to be an exciting season in Dundee. A lot of drivers are buzzing about it. And to hear them, throw out numbers that they're looking for 24 to 30 cars a week for the modified division, for your premier division at the Speedway, that's really gonna be an incredible show. Can't wait to see what that looks like. I mean, you have the street stock division, which increased numbers immensely in 2014. 2013, they were struggling to pull double-digit cars, and then last year you increased the purse to $500 to win, $50 to start, and now you bring that purse back for 2015. I can only imagine that that is only going to bring, even if you brought the same amount of cars, you're talking 20 to 26 cars on a weekly basis, and the street stock division is one that guys that maybe if they were in a Sportsman or in another division they want to move up or move down, they know that they can put a street stock together and still come and run for great money and have a very competitive A main on the track. We're going to wrap up this segment. We're going to be getting Dillon Groover on the line, modified rookie for 2015 at the Woodhull Raceway. We will come back with Dillon on the line here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette, it's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
In the race of everyday life, it's nice to have the green flag. But drivetrain problems are the pits. A fully remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential from Jasper Engines and Transmissions costs less than a new vehicle and comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide transferable warranty. See JasperEngines.com for details and get the green flag into your race of everyday life.
See the boys at Chandler & Sons Automotive, 45977 Old Ox Road in Sterling. Give them a call, 703-437-7300.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
Now back to the Larry, Curly, and Moe of Dirt Track Racing.
Big Poppy, Clint Miller.
Ho, 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 Steven.
Ho, 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 here at the poorhouse. Alongside to my left, we got B-Rad.
What's up?
Yeah, there we go.
He's going to have his hands full tonight.
Oh, man. Always having ourselves a good time here on Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Brad, going to the hotline now. We're going to bring in modified Rookie of the Year in 2015, Dillon Groover. Dillon, welcome to Turn 5 Live. Great to have you here with us on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Hey, man, let's before we get into 2015, let's talk about 2014. Pretty good season for you guys in the Crate Sportsman division there at Woodhull. Talk about some of the highs and the lows of the season for you guys.
Yeah, I was able to pick up my first feature win, and throughout the season we got 2 feature wins, and I got 6 heat wins, and we were also able to travel over to tracks like I-88 Speedway and Pencan, so I certainly like traveling to different tracks, get a different perspective of different competition.
Well, and, that's the thing that I was impressed with you guys in 2014 was you guys traveling a little bit. What was that experience like for you? Because I think up to that point, the only experience you had was at Woodhull.
Yeah, in 2013, we actually traveled over to Pencan and ran there a few times. But I certainly like getting on the road, being with the crew, and being able to show our skill to different tracks. Because I think if you travel more and race different tracks, it makes you better at your home track.
Absolutely. Was there anything that you were able to take from the tracks you guys traveled to that you were able to apply at Woodhull?
Yeah, I was able to, go into different tracks. It teaches you got to be a little bit more aggressive because the competition, it's not your each Saturday night racing. It's, go big or go home. So you certainly have to take that your every week racing so that way you can move up positions. And
now you've certainly got a long history of racing in the family. Of course, your uncle is the 16-time modified champion at Woodhull, and Billy Van Pelt had his car owner on the show last week. I'm curious to know, what some of your earliest memories of going to the races were.
Yeah, when I was little, when I was 4 years old, my uncle Billy Van Pelt his dad had a racetrack behind his house, and we raced every Friday night with go-karts. And then every Saturday night, I was also going to the racetrack and watching until I fell asleep on the bleachers. And then eventually we got up to Moe's Karting World when I was 8 years old, and I raced for 4 years, and we had 2 go-karts in 2 different classes, and we picked up 8 championships in go-karts and 99 feature wins. So that certainly was a good start to getting up into bigger classes.
Absolutely. I mean, when you grow up and the racing's in the blood in your family like that, is there any doubt at all that's what you want to do when you grow up?
Oh, I definitely like to race a long time, and I couldn't do it without my dad and my Uncle Billy, and Mike Bills has been helping us out a lot. So I'm just fortunate that we have the family that we do.
Absolutely. Let's talk about 2015. I mean, you've had a couple years' experience in the sportsman division, and now you guys are making the jump up to the modified division in 2015. That's got to be exciting for you.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It'll be a challenge, but there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be able to reach our goals and set new goals for next year. But, I mean, our big focus this year is, get some seat time and then travel around. We're thinking about Woodhull is going to be our home track, but we might go to Penn Can on Fridays and Utica Rome on Sundays, and we're definitely going to travel around a little bit more, get some good seat time in the modified division.
That's great. That's great to hear. I know that, sitting down into the 78 car last year and taking it out for a hot lap session, how much did that sit you back in the seat, being out in the modified for the first time?
Oh, it really sit me back in the seat all right. I definitely learned I need some better earplugs and some tape over them, so because that's quite a bit louder, and it's just awesome that I could be able to get the opportunity to get a ride in a modified just to see what it's like. So then now this year I can really test it out.
I have to imagine that it's a challenge to move up to a modified anywhere you race, but boy, at Woodhull, it's got to be even that much more of a challenge because, Woodhull's a tight bull ring, and, now you've got a lot more power, which means at the end of the straightaway, you got a lot more power. You got to slow down.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but I've had a lot of laps around Woodhull. Like when I was 9, I packed in the track with Packer cars, and so that was good help to get me into the sportsman division. But yeah, I'm sure our team can do it.
What has been either the most valuable or the, I guess most valuable would be the right word to use there, but what's the most valuable advice that you think you've gotten from your uncle over the years?
Well, he's gave me a lot of advice. Just don't overdrive it. Drive your own race. Don't be driving off other people's cars. Race your own race and drive your own line, and you'll get by people. So just be aggressively patient, and that's what I've learned from him.
Talking about, running your modified, the sportsman, and now the modified at Woodhull, I always love asking guys that race at Woodhull, what is the most challenging set of corners down there? I mean, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, they couldn't be more different from each other. And I'm always curious to know, you would, at least I would think that, some guys would come right away and say that the big steep banks of 1 and 2 are challenging, but for some guys it's 3 and 4. What is it for you?
I think it's 3 and 4 is a little tougher because 1 and 2 is tight. You can get the car slowed right down and then you can launch off. But 3 and 4 is a lot different. But
I mean, you can if you got it set up right, you could really carry a lot of speed through 3 and 4 if you got her hooked up good.
Yeah, it depends on what line you're running. I mean, you carry a good speed around the whole track, but on the bottom there's sometimes some bite you can launch off. But if you can also run the cushion on top, there's a lot of momentum you can get gained there too.
Well, let's go into that too, because track conditions can be different week to week. I mean, you're running on dirt, you never really do know just what you're going to get. Is it going to be easy for you guys to kind of carry some setups from your notebook up to the modified, or do you think that extra power is going to make it so you guys have to make a start with a clean slate and make a new notebook?
Well, I think we'll definitely be able to carry some stuff over from the sportsman, but my dad has worked with Billy Van Pelt for many years, being his crew chief and getting many championships and traveling around and winning many races, but I think we can definitely carry some stuff over from the sportsman. We're getting lots of information, learn what not to do, so.
Okay, hey Dillon, how are you? I was wondering now that Black Rock Speedway has said that they are going to be coming out with the Black Rock, the Woodhull rules are about the same for the big blocks, small blocks. Is it a chance of you coming over on a Friday night to test waters once in a while?
Yeah, I think we'll make an appearance over there a few times. it depends on what our schedule is with Woodhull, but I think we'll definitely make it over.
And Dillon, I know that you talked about your experience having gone to Penn Can before. For folks that listen to our show that haven't been to Penn Can before, how would you describe that track? I've actually never been there myself, looking to go there this year, but how would you describe Penn Can?
Penn Can is it isn't like any other track out there. The two turns, it's like driving a road course. None of the turns are the same. And 1 and 2, it's like a big sweeping turn. There's a little bit of banking, and then you go down the straightaway and you get into 3, and it's like a 90-degree turn, and then a kind of a sweep off. And it's sometimes hard to get into 3 without the person behind you running over you because it's such a tight turn. But you just gotta take it how it comes and make the best of it so you can stay ahead of the competition.
As you guys get ready for 2015, I know you guys have a pretty big benefit plan to help support the team in 2015. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, and actually in 2014, Gary Dunning brought us along as a car owner, and he's actually helped us a lot, being able to get into the modifieds this year. And we certainly couldn't do it without him and the sponsors like BMS Manufacturing and the Ridge Runner Cafe, Mike Bills, and my dad and my mom and the family for letting me race. So certainly thankful there.
I hear you guys working on the car in the background there. What are we working on tonight?
We actually just got the car all complete as far as mechanical, except for the carburetor and headers. But we're actually mounting the body right now.
Very good. Gonna be looking for letters not too long from now.
Yeah, hopefully it's only a few weeks. It's gonna be black and blue, but yeah, hopefully we'll get it. I'm actually doing the car for a school project. Like I'm taking pictures and documenting as I go, so then I can present it to some judges for a project.
Very cool. So you guys are working on that for the project. What car shows will we be seeing you guys at in the future?
You mean like a mall show or something?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna go down to Woodhull, the Arnott Mall show. That's really the only spot we were gonna go to show the car off.
All right. Well, Dillon, we'll look forward to seeing you guys there. We'll stop by for an interview and a photo op with you guys. Appreciate your time joining us on the show. I know you mentioned some sponsors, but if there's anybody else you'd like to give some shout-outs to before we take off, we'd love to have you do that.
I think I summed everybody up.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time on the show tonight, and good luck in your rookie season in 2015.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
All right. That's Dillon Groover, driver of the 12X, getting ready to move up to the Mighty Modifieds down at the Woodhull Raceway. We're going to go off to a break, Clint, but coming up in the rest of the show tonight, we've got buy or sell, and we've also got a very interesting debate that's got a lot of folks talking about transmissions. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
In the Pits Media is proud to present its newest partner, WinYourNewCar.com. That's right, you now can enter the #1 American Dream Car Contest giveaway at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Copman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Hi everybody, this is Getty Lee for RAD. To many of us, drunk driving is something that other people do. Certainly not one of our friends or relatives would do such a thing. When you see someone who's had too much to drink, about to get into a car, urge them to give up the keys and find alternate transportation. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, you should too.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hey race fans, this is Oswego Speedway Public Relations Director Dan Kapusinski, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live.
Well, gentlemen, we certainly have a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to chew on after the meet and greet and rules meetings on Sunday, and certainly all the information that we took in so far on tonight's show. Clint, let's go over some of the things that came out on Sunday from the rules meetings and the meet and greet session as well. Couple of quotes that I thought were really interesting from Mike Jackson in his opening comments at the Black Rock Speedway staff meeting. Now this is Jackson talking about him and Sue Foster. "We both come from racing backgrounds and are 100% committed to operating the facility as a Friday night weekly speedway." He also went on to say, "We have plans to really dig in and clean the facility up. We want race fans to walk into Black Rock Speedway and say, wow, whether it's concessions, bathrooms, VIP boxes, or grass growing in the infield in front of a newly constructed victory lane. The fans and competitors are going to have a place to come to and be proud to support each and every week." Clint, I'm curious to know your reaction. I mean, going back to every Friday night, it's going to feel like the Black Rock Speedway or the Dundee Raceway of old being back to an every Friday schedule. That might take some getting used to for us.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been waiting for this since it stopped being a weekly show. It just seems that there's so many things that determine whether people are going to be there or not. And if you don't know on a Friday night if the racetrack's open, chances are after a couple Friday nights you're going to start forgetting about it's even there, other than hearing it when it's too late. It's nice to know that every Friday that you do have a place to go, and the classes that he brought back, the big blocks, small blocks, that's always been huge. I think that's great.
Some other things, news and notes that came from the staff meeting, rules meetings. As Mike mentioned, April 10th will be the scheduled practice night at the Black Rock Speedway. April 17th will be an off night in support of the Canandaigua Jan Corcoran Memorial Weekend at CMP, and we're actually going to talk a little bit more about that, specifically the Grit Racing Series Cabin Fever 64 event taking place on that weekend. We'll get to that in just a little bit here. April 24th will be the first full points show to kick off the 2015 season. We heard from Greg Hickson earlier tonight. He's going to be the race director. Scott Hickson will return to his perch on the flag stand in 2015, and that was a change from what we were able to announce last week on the show. Originally thought that Steve Kellogg was going to be returning, but it kind of, and I won't really get into a lot of the details of it, Clint, but it seems that there was a bit of some miscommunication between Mike and Steve trying to get, Mike mentioned getting schedules situated out, and all of that comes together and actually leads to Scott Hickson returning on the flag stand in 2015. I'm sure that we will see Steve Kellogg at several Friday night racetracks, of course, doing his weekly column in Area Auto Racing News. Always one that I turn to first, regardless of what page number they might have him on that week. And certainly with all the news coming out recently, Clint, his article has been further and further up in Area Auto with the announcement of Black Rock Speedway and some of the uncertainty that we had there for a while. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on Steve's article, and of course he'll be following the Race of Champions Asphalt Modified Series. And I know that if I know Steve as well as I think I do, I'm sure his boat will be getting some action out on Cuca Lake on Friday nights as well. So going back to discussion we had on the show last week, guys, Mike announced on Sunday morning that there will be a handicap system in place. There will not be a draw-redraw system to line up the A mains. So I know that will be something, Clint, that will be very popular with you.
Yeah, well, and it was popular with everybody in the street stock meeting. That was one of those things that, I'm sure that a lot of people were worried about. And I liked what Mike had to say. He said, listen, I don't want an outsider coming in, drawing pole, and running away and winning my feature. He said, you guys are here every week. You deserve as much of a chance as anybody else. And if an outsider is going to come in, he's going to have to go to the back, and he's going to have to earn it like everybody else does. That's a top points guy.
And to kind of put a bow on that discussion, Clint, I want to thank Paul and Cindy Hilfiger, who sent us a message right as the show closed last week. Wanted to point out that at Woodhull, if you win the next week, you start 13th or worse. If you win 2 weeks in a row, you start 18th or worse. That was their interpretation of the rule at Woodhull. So that kind of gets things clarified for us from what we were talking about last week. So let's go on to more announcements that came out at Sunday's meeting. There will no longer be points awarded for qualifying heat races. And I'll tell you, that's really going to play a factor into things, Clint, because on championship night 2014, the heat race points played a huge role in determining, I know specifically the street stocks. Jeremy Petrobowski nearly had a disaster happen based on the fact that he had a problem in his heat, and the guy running second in points won his heat race, and there was almost quite a huge swing there in points that night.
Yeah, I can remember you on Facebook on our Turn 5 webpage, or saying, well, this is the point situation, and then when Jeremy's heat left the track, well, this is the point situation, and here's what's going to happen, or it's got to happen to get this guy's got to be the championship, and we're not going to have that anymore, and it's not a bad thing, but it's also a good thing too. I mean, you don't need guys going out, and I'm not saying it happens because I don't remember it happening a lot off the top of my head, but you don't need guys going out tearing up their equipment in the heat, to try to get those bonus points. And a nice other thing that he said was, if you got to have some sort of something to shoot for when it comes to winning your heats, he's going to try to get with some sponsors and maybe give away some weekly, give away some prizes for your heat winners. He did say maybe a pit pass, maybe something for the American Racer Tire, something that along those lines. So that's a really cool deal too.
It is for sure. And we want to take a moment here just to clarify. I know that since Mike Jackson was on the show earlier, I know Brett Deo has been getting flooded with information. We want to clarify the fact that this is a modified show on Tuesday the 2nd at Black Rock that is going to give away some guaranteed spots to some short track Super Series shows, but we do want to make it very clear to everybody that it is not a short track Super Series event. It is an event that is going to be run at the Black Rock Speedway that will give out guaranteed spots to shows promoted by Brett Deo later on in the season. But as we mentioned with Mike on the show earlier, it is not a short track Super Series event. So just want to make sure that everybody is clear on that before we go any further tonight. But back to our notes from Sunday's meeting. As it stood on Sunday, the Sportsman and Modified teams will be utilizing the electronic scoring loop. Clint, I'm going to ask you, as far as the street stock rules meeting went, is that anything that is going to be used for the street stock division? Because I think that might be the next division in line that would use it. Did they mention that for the street stocks?
It wasn't mentioned at all, Steve. There was nothing mentioned about the scoring whatsoever. But I got to think that I guess 24 cars is 24 cars, whether it's a modified, a sportsman, or a street stock. So it's getting harder and harder. The cars are getting faster and faster. It's getting harder and harder for the scorers to keep up. And if you have electronic scoring, then there's no issues anymore. I know, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything off right now, but I know that they're still having some trouble with the scoring at Lancaster from the last ROC modified race, that they say that the winner was a lap down. So many people say he was, and then there's a few people that say he wasn't. He hasn't been paid for winning yet, and they're still trying to figure that out after 5 or 6 months now. It hasn't been that long, but
you know what you call that, Clint? That's a mess.
A cluster.
It's a cluster, but it's a mess. That is a mess. Going on with other news coming out on Sunday, it is not likely that outside events such as demo derbies and motorhome demo derbies will be part of the future of the Speedway. There is one scheduled in 2015 that'll be promoted by the owner of the Speedway. Mike Jackson stressed being open and operated as a weekly Friday night track. And if I couldn't applaud more, I think the worst thing you can do for a racetrack is to lay all this debris down from. I'm not a demo derby guy. I'm not into it. I'm certainly not into motorhome demo derbies, but I applaud Mike for taking that stance. There will be one in 2015, but I'm not sure that you'll see any after that, and I applaud Mike for that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. And there were good turnouts for that because there was generally monster trucks there. Sometimes when they happen. But one of the things that stood out to me, getting back to, it's going to be a racetrack again, was one of the first thing he said at the interview on Sunday was, we're not in the entertainment business. We are in the racing business, and that's what we're going to do at Black Rock Speedway.
Well, that's news, and well, that's awesome to hear. We're going to have more discussion here. Coming up in our next segment, it's going to be buy or sell, and it's going to be a buy or sell you don't want to miss. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
In the race of everyday life, it's nice to have the green flag. But drivetrain problems are the pits. A fully remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential from Jasper Engines and Transmissions costs less than a new vehicle and comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide transferable warranty. See JasperEngines.com for details and get the green flag into your race of everyday life.
See the boys at Chandler & Sons Automotive, 45977 Old Ox Road in Sterling. Give them a call, 703-437-7300.
Ever higher, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. Excellence in customer service. Online at ExcelsiorRacing.com or call 502-909-2034.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your #1 source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit StockCarSteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll-free at 1-888-752-7272.
Proving that raw talent isn't a necessity to do mobile radio, let's get back to Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Oh, man, Clint, we're going to have to talk to Danny Kaye. Be just a little bit nicer to us here, man.
Well, his sense of humor is a little different.
Yeah, well, it's good stuff. We're always having fun here on Turn 5 Live. And speaking of having fun, guys, we're coming up on one of your guys' favorite segments, I know. Buy or sell. And Clint, we have one really big buy or sell topic, and we're going to save that for the last topic. It's our question of the night. If you haven't gone over and posted your comment on our question of the night, go over to the Turn 5 Racing Podcast Facebook page and get on that and answer that question right now. And tonight's question of the night is, should Black Rock Street Stock stick with standard transmissions or allow the Bert Falcons? That is our question of the night. That'll be our last buy or sell topic of the night. Let's get to our first one, gentlemen, and I'll start with Clint. World of Outlaws recently announcing that they'll be losing STP as the title sponsor for the World of Outlaws sprint cars. Clint, buy or sell, they're able to replace STP by the beginning of the season?
By the beginning of the season, I'm going to say no. I'm going to sell that. I actually was listening to some of Wing Nation today, and some of the way I gathered it was some of the California shows, out west shows, are going to be like a co-promoted deal. And I think with another 410 group out there, so and that's early in the season, so it may be giving the World of Outlaws a few more months to come up with something.
Brad, let's swing over to you. Buy or sell? Do you think STP will be replaced before the 2015 season kicks off? Certainly, they don't have a lot of time to do it.
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it because I know there's a company out there somewhere that's licking their chops, looking at the World of Outlaws, going, we can spend less money than STP did because they're looking for a sponsor. They'll virtually take whatever they can get until they get a big offer or the right offer that the World of Outlaws want. So if I owned a big company that I wanted to spend the money that the World of Outlaws get in sponsorship for their title sponsorship, I would I'd be licking my chops right now to try and get in, because quite honestly, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Tour is really what's keeping that ship afloat, in my honest opinion.
I'll tell you guys, I'm going to sell it, and I'll tell you why. I don't know this, to be truth, but what I do know is that at the same time or prior to STP coming on board with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, there was rumors and whispers going around the sprint car scene about how big a deal it was going to be that there was going to be a TV deal for sprint cars, and there was going to be sprint cars all over the TV, and World of Outlaws and World Racing Group was going to be a part of it. Other than what, Brad, 3 or 4 shows at the end of the season, certainly Knoxville got their deal, but that's not the World of Outlaws. That's Knoxville Raceway. What TV deal did they really get? Certainly being the title sponsor for the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars is a big deal, but when you hear whispers about a big TV deal, that's a very large audience that you get to go out to. And when you compare it to the ASCS National Tour, who, Clint, they get airtime every single Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a new race that's tape delayed by a couple of weeks or a month or two, or if it's a rerun. I mean, I've watched races that I actually attended out at Grace Harbor, Washington State. I've seen it on reruns as recently as a couple weeks ago. Now, I know that Lucas Oil has a big part of that being on MAV TV, but let's face it, guys, I'm wondering if STP exiting was due to under-delivery on things promised to them. I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, those are all great points. I mean, you actually see the dirt late models are on more than the grandfather, the sprint car tour. So, I mean, what's that tell you?
Yeah. So I really believe that if you're going to get a big title sponsor to come in, you're going to have a TV deal wrapped up into that. And at this point, 3 or 4 shows at the end of the season on CBS Sports, I just don't see it happening. Let's go to our next topic, guys. And I'm not positive just how much these topics relate to each other. We'll let the race fans at home decide that for themselves. Joe Skotnicki being relieved of his duties as the series director for the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds. Buy or sell that move, Clint? Joe Skotnicki being relieved of his duties.
I'm gonna, I guess it depends on how you look at it, because you could buy or sell it either way. I'm gonna, as from the World Racing Group standpoint, I'm gonna buy it because it's gonna save them money that they just lost from STP. I don't know how much it's gonna save them, but it's gonna save them something. And having said that, it doesn't sound like the whole STP, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars now, it doesn't sound like their coalition with the dirt car banner is going very well anyway.
Brad, let's swing it over to you.
I'm going to have to sell it. Just for the simple fact of, I can see where somebody might think, World Racing Group, they're tying in the losing, the loss of STP with the sprint cars to the modified tour. But honestly, when you stop and look at it, all 3 series, the modifieds, late models, and sprint cars should be run as 3 separate businesses and not just one big business.
Correct.
Which is why STP is only with the sprint cars and so on and so forth. But I'm going to sell it for the pure fact of, like we were talking about, people on social media talking about how Skotnicki had the tour coming back. They had more racetracks coming, wanting to be a part of the tour, more tour dates, more guys running the tour that haven't consistently run the tour in the past couple of years. And, I don't know if we can accredit that all to Joe Skotnicki, but But when looking back at history and history with the tour, you know, there was one common factor that everybody came down to on the calculator, which was Joe Skotnicki. So I don't know if it's going to be a good move or bad move. I might want to buy it later, but right now I think I'm going to sell.
I'll kind of take it in both directions, Brad. I'm going to sell it for the Super Dirt Car Series. I think that's a tremendous loss. You know, the Super Dirt Car Series has come back to really being on top of the mountain, more dates, going to tracks they haven't gone to in years. I mean, they're going back to 5 Mile Point Speedway in 2015. 5 Mile Point Speedway is the home to the Race of Champions Dirt Modified Tour. Are you kidding me? If that doesn't tell you how big of a loss Joe Skotnicki is to the series, I think that speaks volumes right there. I know a lot of eyebrows got raised at Super Dirt Week when they announced they were going back to 5 Mile Point. And but I will say, guys, on the buy end of it, I'm going to buy this for Joe Skotnicki, and here's why. I buy it for Skotnicki because Joe Skotnicki has had to be the bad guy when it comes to telling tracks that want to be sanctioned dirt car, you cannot bring in the short track Super Series. I'm sure that there was a lot of things that Joe had to say to promoters and to racetracks that came down from a much higher level than his pay grade. But unfortunately, being the series director, he's got to be the bad guy to relate that information to these racetracks and promoters. So for Joe's end of things, I kind of buy the move because it's going to give him the opportunity to come out and do something different and not have to consistently be the bad guy that delivers the bad news from above his pay grade. I got to imagine that had to have been a pretty stressful thing to have to do when, you know, Dirt Car and World Racing Group took the stance that you're either with us or you're against us. That had to be an awful predicament to find yourself in as the series director. Next topic. We're going to go with buy or sell. I know we talked about Dillon Groover earlier in the show tonight, but let's talk about his uncle, Billy Van Pelt. Real quick, guys. Clint, 2015, buy or sell. This is the year that Billy Van Pelt gets number 17 at Woodhull.
Buy. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
All right.
I don't need to explain it.
All right, Brad.
As much as I want to sell it and say there's going to be an underdog story, I've got to buy it because it's almost like betting against Jimmy Johnson. You'd be a fool to do it, but your heart really wants to do it. But I'm gonna buy it. I think he can do it.
I can't sell it. I want to play devil's advocate with you guys, but I can't sell that. It's Billy Van Pelt and it's Woodhull Raceway. What else do you need to know? So that's our buy or sell segment. Our big question of the night is coming up in our next segment, and it is our Turn 5 Live question of the night. So if you want to hear us debate our question of the night, stick around for our last segment of Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory, and if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
Welcome back to Turn 5 Live. Now back to the guy that works on race cars, the man behind the scenes pushing buttons, and the guy that talks too much. Take it away, Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stephen Ovens, Clint Miller, closing out the show for you tonight. Last segment. Clint, just got a message, breaking news in from Creekside Entertainment. I'm going to have to send somebody over to Newark to check on Stu to make sure that he's okay and hasn't fallen and hit his head. He wanted to know how much it would cost us to sponsor the World of Outlaws, and I said, "You just keep dreaming there, Daddy-O."
Oh my goodness, yeah, he's not well. Somebody get Marge over there to give him a drink or something.
I'm thinking the dog must have dragged him around the neighborhood tonight or something. But we're certainly proud to be sponsoring some local guys in 2015, but I'm not quite sure about the World of Outlaws sprint cars. Clint, let's go to our topic of the night, Turn 5 Live question of the night. And that is this whole debate about the transmissions and just exactly what they will use at the Black Rock Speedway in 2015. Our question of the night was, should Black Rock street stocks stick with the standard transmissions or allow the Bert Falcon? So going with the buy or sell theme, Clint, I'm going to toss this to you first. Buy or sell Bert Falcons in 2015?
Oh, man. I don't know. This is like a hornet's nest no matter how you do it.
That's why you get to answer it first.
Well, I can say from, I work on 3 cars to get them to the track every Friday night, and I can tell you that our 3 guys would rather see it as stock class. I mean, it's not a stock class anymore. That's not what I meant. But you're pricing the street stocks out of range. There's some tracks down south, 5 Mile Point, maybe I-88, that are going to allow them. And yes, they probably are on the way. But I guarantee you that if you pull the top 15 guys out of the street stock class that they had last year, which was a full field every week pretty much, 22 cars, those 15 guys, you're not going to have any less than 13 say to keep the transmission rule the way it was. And go ahead.
Well, before we go on with it, Clint, I just wondering what you can tell the race fans that may not know the difference between the standard and the Falcon. What are some of the major differences?
The direct drives are all it's all lightweight. all your power and your horsepower from the motors going right to the rear gears. So it's just restarts are that much better. They're that much better off the corners. Black Rock maybe not be a huge advantage because the turns are long and sweeping, but you get to a smaller track and that direct drive is going to play a big role in.
And to clarify, direct drive is kind of interchangeable with Falcon or Bert.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what I like in direct drive too. Is just is a Bert or Falcon tranny. Yes, that's exactly right, Stephen.
All right. Well, interesting topic, and we're in talks with a gentleman who works feverishly on these transmissions every single year. Pretty popular in the racing business. We're going to have him on Turn 5 Live next Tuesday night to talk to us more about these transmissions. But, as far as all of this goes, I mean, as you look at the comments that we got from fans on the Turn 5 Racing Podcast Facebook page, and oddly enough, Clint, a lot of them street stock competitors, it really seems like the running theme here is that they are not in favor of it. Specifically in 2015, they're wanting to stick with that standard transmission. So I'm guessing, as a guy that wrenches on these every week, Clint, you are probably not too surprised to see this reaction.
I'm really not. I mean, I know Mike doesn't want to ruffle any feathers, and he's going to make people mad regardless of whatever decision he makes. My thing is, there's two guys that are real big proponents of this, Jim Schuyler, Bob Buno, who really, really are pushing the Bert Falcon tranny rule. These are things that these guys already have. They already own them. It's not an added expense for these guys. And those guys didn't run full time with the street stocks last year. So he's not going to, if he says that he's not going to run the direct drive transmissions or Falcon transmissions, how many is he really going to lose? I mean, we see it right here on the post that we had. I think the class is still going to be there regardless of whether when you tell the Bert or Falcon guys no.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Regardless of which way you go, you're going to have a certain group that's not going to be particularly happy with that decision.
But who do you want to upset more? Do you want to upset more the 20 guys that you had at your field every week last year that don't want the direct drives, or 2 or 3 or 4 guys coming in? I mean, to say that, more guys are more apt to, if a Friday night race gets rained out, they're more apt to go to Woodhull as opposed to 5 Mile Point or a place down south. So, Woodhull finally changed their rules, and they are allowing only stock transmissions. And everybody's waited for Woodhull to have this, to have the rules close to the same. Well, now they're close to the same, and now we want to go change them again. So I just think it's a bad deal.
Now, what exactly, and I know that this was part of their discussion on Sunday at the rules meeting, what exactly can you do if they were to allow them? What exactly can you do to even up the competition between the Standard and the Falcon?
And that was something that was talked about extensively. There is a couple things that you can do. Carl's idea was put a restrictor on the motor, an actual restrictor plate. I don't know how feasible that is because, I don't know how much different work has to be done to your car or to your motor to accommodate the restrictor plate because the ratios are different. But one thing that was talked about a lot was adding weight to the car in front of the firewall, and that kind of compensates for the heavy weight of the transmission from the stock to the Bert or Falcon, because a stock flywheel is 30 pounds, and you don't have that when you're running a Falcon or Bert tranny. So if you add weight in front of the firewall, that's that is definitely one thing that can even up the playing field. Because if you just say, well, you guys that are running a Bert or a Falcon transmission, you have to add 200 pounds to your car. Well, I can tell you right now, I know where I would add it, and that's right over the rear wheels. So you're not gonna lose any forward bite by doing that. All the power is still gonna go right to the track. So you have to put it in front of the firewall to keep it off those rear tires.
Interesting. Another comment that I saw in here, Clint, from somebody was allowing, kind of almost like a, not really a grace period, but phasing these in over 2 to 3 years. I can't exactly see who it was that had said that, but somebody talked about phasing them in over a couple of years. What do you feel about that?
I don't know how you could do that other than, like you said, if you do accept the rule this year, you have to run 50 pounds in front of the firewall, and then I don't know. If you're gonna allow it and you're gonna put the 50 pounds on it, then you don't have to run, or you don't have to have in 5 years, 3 years, everybody's gonna run a Falcon. Running a stock transmission is not as good as a Falcon, so why would you have to run a Falcon? If you want to run a standard transmission, you can. And if in 3 years they decide, okay, well, everybody's had a chance to buy one, we're going to take the weight rule off. Well, then that's something else. But the guys that are going to run stock transmissions, they're not going to buy the Bert or Falcon. They're not going to buy the Bert or Falcon.
Some interesting comments that we're going to read on the air here for guys that had left us comment. I thought this one was interesting, Clint. Lee Sharpstein writes, if you're getting a full field, then run the same rules. Why fix something not broken? Enforce what you have and treat everyone fair. Your racers will stay loyal. That one got a lot of likes on the comment. I think he's absolutely right. I mean, you've got fields of 20 to 26 cars. Maybe making a change in the rules, not the way to go right now.
Yeah, I agree 100. I've stated that. I've stated my opinion on that. Actually, I just got a message from Nick Guerrieri that says, all right, these guys want to run a Falcon or Bert transmission, make them run a rev limiter chip in their motor, in their distributor. That's there's a bunch of things that they can do. And that's just one more. It's a $100 item to buy a chip. These guys that are running their Falcons or Bert trannies and they're saving all the money from not having to rebuild them so much, you can buy a $100 rev limiter chip. There you go.
How do you think that would go over?
Well, Steve, in the immortal words of Mike Jackson, you're gonna make some people mad. Not everybody's going to agree with the decision you make.
I think our producer's right. It might go over like a turd in a punch bowl. I'm not sure. But Clint, I love this discussion. I mean, look at all of the feedback that we got on it tonight, and this is something that's if they stick with standards in 2015, which, based on what the drivers are saying here, it sounds like that's what they want. But I don't think this topic's going to go away as the years go by. Put a time frame. When do you think that we will see this a part of the rule book?
When the street stocks aren't the street stocks anymore. You are basically... you're really not that far off of a BRP car. With the way things are going right now, you throw 10-inch tires on them, a J-bar or Panhard bar, and unlimit the motors.
I'll even go one better for you, Clint. Why don't we call them the super stocks?
Yeah, well, that's essentially what you're getting back to, because you're only two things away from being the super stocks that were full fields of cars back in the year 2003 or 4 when the BRPs were brought in.
And we all know how good the racing was in that division.
Yeah, it was the best around. I don't even know.
I'm not going to let you go there. I know. Well, I want to send a thank you out to all the drivers, the fans that commented on our question of the night. Certainly going to be a big topic that we'll be talking about in the weeks to come. We are going to have an industry insider with us next week on Turn 5 Live to talk to us more about this direct drive transmission versus the standard. Want to thank Mike Jackson, Sue Foster, Dillon Groover for joining the show tonight. For Brad Ovens and Clint Miller, I'm Steve Ovens saying thank you, race fans, for joining us on Turn 5 Live. We will see you right here next Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Turn 5 Live is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com is a member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guest, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or marketing partners. Thank you for listening to Turn 5 Live. You can listen to Turn 5 Live